Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. Today, we're going to be talking about spellcasting. Specifically, we're going to be talking about the Bard, and one of the most impressive levels of spells that they reach, 4th level spells. At level 7, Bards unlock their 4th level spells, and there are a couple of spells at 4th level that stand head and shoulders above most other spells in the game. There are spells that you can get at 4th level spells that stand out for the rest of the D&D campaign. All the way up to level 20, these spells can be useful. I have made a list of a top 5 that I recommend all Bard players have a look at. These are my picks for 4th level gangbusters. Starting right away at the 5th spot on the list is Charm Monster. Charm Monster is very similar to the infamous Charm Person 1st level spell that bards have had at level 1, but Charm Person only works on humanoids. Charm Monster works on all creatures. There are no limitations. You simply cast the spell on the creature and they make a wisdom saving throw. If you're fighting the creature, they have advantage on this save. But other than that, if they fail that wisdom save, they are now charmed by you. You have advantage on all of your persuasion checks against that creature, and they will not harm you or your allies. This effect lasts for an entire hour. Concentration free, I might add. So this is a great way to take that pesky creature that isn't a humanoid, that is giving your party a hard time, and turn it into your new BFF. This is a great social spell for those situations when you're not in society. If you're trying to get the tribe of, a bunch of kobolds or koltals or, heck, even the mycenoids, any creature is fair game. You want to try and charm the leader of a bunch of dragonlings? Go for it. A bunch of giants? Heck yeah. Anything that you think is going to fail a wisdom save. It is a really powerful spell, and with a bard who already should have expertise in one of the social skills, this is just going to make it 10 times easier for you to get out without having to shed any blood. The 4th one on this list is for when the charm doesn't work and you have to fight. It's called Rowletham's Psychic Lance, or if you don't want to be specific with names, just Psychic Lance. You find it in Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, and it's an attack, but it doesn't use an attack roll. Instead, it has a range of 120 feet, and you can either target a creature you can see, or you can simply speak the creature's name. You don't even need to see it. This is a homing attack. It'll go around corners and everything. All the creature can do is make an intelligence save, one of the best saves to target for the players because most creatures do not have a high intelligence. If they fail the save, they take 7d6 psychic damage, a great damage type, and are incapacitated until the start of your next turn. So for a whole round, they just can't do anything. This is a really powerful effect. And since you don't have to see the creature, you just have to know who they are. This means that targeting the big bad is actually really easy as long as you're within 120 feet of them. Cover doesn't matter. As far as if they succeed on their save somehow, then they take half damage and aren't incapacitated, so it's still going to hurt them a little bit, and psychic damage is rarely resisted. So you're looking at a fantastic intelligence saving throw based attack. It's really, really good. It's actually the only direct attack from 4th level that I've got on this list, so yeah. Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, thanks for that one. Going back to some more basics, at number 3, we have Dimension Door. Dimension Door is everyone's favorite teleportation spell. You can teleport 500 feet with your action using Dimension Door. You can either teleport somewhere you can see, so you can hop across a city from rooftop to rooftop, or up the castle wall if you need to, or climb a mountain for that matter. You can also teleport somewhere you can visualize. This is something a lot of people miss. If you enter a dungeon at at a gate or a cavern of some kind, and then you go down a few hundred feet, you can still use Dimension Door to pop up to the entrance just because you can think about it. You can visualize the spot, and it's within 500 feet of you. And if all else fails, you can use Dimension Door to designate directions. 200 feet, straight up, or straight down. Or upwards and forwards at a 45-degree angle, 330 feet. You can be very specific with Dimension Door, and it will attempt to teleport you there. If you teleport into a solid object, you take a bunch of damage and don't actually teleport, so you have to know where you're going. But I would stick personally with either the sight or the visualization of this. Or if you really have to get through a door, just on the other side of the door will work. The best part about Dimension Door, though, is that it's not just you. You can take another creature with you, and both of you can be carrying up to your capacity in objects. So you can actually grab something that you can just barely hold and teleport it with Dimension Door. Very handy. This is the sort of thing that can bypass entire hazards or even entire dungeons if you know what you're doing. Very, very powerful. I recommend it as a combination with the scrying spell. If you can visually see something through magic, you can Dimension Door to it if you're within 500 feet. Bam! You have now skipped the entire dungeon and brought the barbarian with you. At number 2, we come to a spell that I had some fantastic experiences with the very first time I ever played a bard. I was playing a swords bard, and once I hit level 7 in the campaign, this became my go-to concentration spell, Greater Invisibility. Greater Invisibility you cast with an action, and it does take your concentration. It lasts for 1 minute. During this time, you are invisible. So, like Invisibility, you can't be seen. Attacks against you have disadvantage, and all your attacks are coming in with advantage, unless the creature has blind sight or true sight or can see invisible creatures. Now, a minute doesn't seem like a whole lot, but because the normal invisibility spell, the top 2nd level spell I chose, lasts for an hour. The reason Greater Invisibility is better, because it doesn't break when you cast spell or take another action. So you can keep casting spells and keep attacking and do other things while staying invisible. It is a combat-focused spell. It allows you to kill things while being invisible. And that's what I was doing. I was a swords bard, and I was the kind that would, at the beginning of the fight, cast Greater Invisibility, and then every turn after that, I had advantage on all of my attacks, which just made me that much better at damaging the enemies and killing things. It is a wonderful spell. You can even cast it on an ally if you'd rather than cast it on yourself. It is a very powerful combat buff and well worth the number 2 spot. And if it wasn't for the sheer power of the number 1 spot, I would have given it to Greater Invisibility. But the number 1 spot on this list is one of those spells that no matter who you are in D&D, most people know this spell. Because this spell is, without a doubt, one of the best spells in the entire game. This spell is better than some 9th level spells. And the reason is because it is everything you want from magical buffs. It is Polymorph. The Polymorph spell, at its core, means that you can target a creature and turn it into a beast. The beast that you turn it into has to have a challenge rating of the creature's level or lower. But when you get this spell, you're at level 7, and probably so is the rest of your party. Most beasts, in fact, I think there's 2 or 3 that are above that, but everybody else, every other beast, is CR7 or lower. The giant ape is CR7. The woolly mammoth is CR6, I think. The giant shark or whale are CR5 and 6. Like, these are massive creatures with buckets of hit points and powerful attacks. The giant ape even has a ranged attack. But this isn't the best part. Obviously, turning into a big monster is awesome. Hell, when you hit level 8, 1 level later, you can turn into a Tyrannosaurus Rex, which is metal. But the powerful thing about Polymorph is that when you are in that creature form, it takes concentration, lasts an hour, but when you're in that creature's form, if you get hit, it takes health away from the creature's hit point pool. If you drop to 0 hit points when you are in this creature's form, you go back to your regular form. The spell ends, and you still have the hit points you had when you transformed. So forget, using aid to buff hit point maximums or using inspiring leader to give temporary hit points. Nah, all of that stuff is second fiddle. Your fighter or your barbarian could be on their last few hit points and you cast Polymorph at them. Now they're a Tyrannosaurus Rex with over 100 more hit points that they can absorb damage with, attacking with their massive bite and tail. And all of a sudden, you have this amazingly powerful tank. And if that tank goes down, guess what? The barbarian is still on their feet. They're still there, waiting for you to cast Polymorph again, if you can. The point is that Polymorph gives you a huge health buff. Usually makes you pretty dang strong when it comes to defensive and offensive tactics. And if you really need to fly, you can transform into a giant eagle. Or if you really need to sneak in somewhere, you could transform into a spider or a squirrel or a mouse. You don't have to be a super powerful creature. The transformation lasts for a full hour. Who's going to suspect a spider crawling on the wall while you eavesdrop? This is the kind of spell that answers all questions. Polymorph fixes everything. And that's why it's the #1 spell. It is not just the #1 4th level spell. It is one of the best spells in all of D&D. And nobody who can take it should leave it by the wayside. Polymorph is just that good. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below, and keep your eyes peeled for more spellcasting reviews coming down the line soon. Have a good one, my friends.